Welcome to another edition of the Gospel Road. Hopefully you are healthy and doing fine in our new normal, which is kind of crazy. It's been a little nutty for me today, trying to juggle a lot of things and changing things and showing things and trying to figure out things. It's a completely different world. And I know one thing in radio, I'm sure a lot of you that have possibly been listening to radio, how personalities and show hosts are doing their shows from their home and then trying to figure out how to get that all taken care of. In fact, that's what I'm kind of in the middle of right now. But taking a quick little break here and thought I would take advantage of this and throw another show down, and hopefully that it's... I've been getting some feedback, and I appreciate that. People that are enjoying that I've actually had a chance to start these up again. And that it's kind of helping and making people feel good. I know it's given me an escape that I've kind of lost. Kind of happens. But anyway, just hope all is well and you're doing well. And as they say, we're in this together and we'll make it through. We'll get to the other end. But we're going to look at Proverbs 19 today. It says, "Better is a poor person who walks in his integrity than one who is crooked in speech and is a fool. Desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. When a man's folly brings his way to ruin, his heart rages against the Lord. Wealth brings many new friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friends. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will not escape. Many seek the favor of a generous man, and everyone is a friend of a man who gives gifts. A poor man's brother hate him. How much more do his friends go far for him? He pursues them with words, but does not have them. Whoever gets sense loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will discover good. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will perish. It is fitting for a fool to live in luxury, much less for a slave to rule over princes. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is glory to overlook an offense. A king's wrath is like the growling of a lion, but his favor is like the dew of the grass. A foolish son is ruin to his father, and a wife's quarreling is a continual dripping of rain. House and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casts into deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. Whoever keeps the commandments keeps his life. He who despises his ways will die. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Discipline your son, for there is hope. Do not set your heart on putting him to death. A man of great wrath will pay the penalty, for if you deliver him, you will only have to do it again. Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future. Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. What is desired in a man is steadfast love, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads to life, and whoever has it rests satisfied. He will not be visited by harm. The sluggard buries his hands in the dish, and will not even bring it back to his mouth. Strike a scoffer, and the simple will learn prudence. Reprove a man of understanding, and he will gain knowledge. He who does violence to his father and chases away his mother is a son who brings shame and reproach. Cease to hear instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge. A worthless witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked devours iniquity. Condemnation is ready for scoffers, and beating for the backs of fools. Proverbs 19. When you go through the Proverbs, there's so many Proverbs. I know. I mean, each line basically gives you an entire wealth, a piece of knowledge to understand. Listen to advice and accept instruction that you may gain wisdom in the future. It's always that learning, that taking that step. I know I've said this before, but I've heard this. Learn something new every day. We should always be learning, always trying to better ourselves, and trying to do what we can to better those that are around us, to help them, to encourage them. Cease to hear instruction, and you will stray from the words of knowledge. Just because there's a certain way to do things does not mean there might not be a better way. We've all had that manager, that this is the way it's done and this is the way you do it. And they do not want you to do it any other way because that's how they do it, and they do not like change. You could find a better, a quicker, more efficient way to do it, but no. They are kind of stuck in their ways. It's one thing for me over the years that I've had to learn. There's so many different ways to do things, and you're always trying to innovate, to make things easier. As we've all heard, work smarter, not harder. Because sometimes that harder, it's not saying that you're lazy, but it just causes you to become more exhausted as you're trying to deal with things. Working smarter means that you can either get things done in a more efficient way, get it done faster, then also now you're able to focus on making sure it's the best. Now you're able to look at the quality, not just the quantity. Those are some of the conversations that I have over the years with many personalities and hosts that I've talked to. When they're trying to do a show, it's about the quality of that show, not just throwing everything in. But again, finding that smarter, easier way to do it, so now you're able to really look at the information that you're being put in there. A lot of times when you're dealing with businesses, you're putting all that data in. You're doing data entry. And that's dealing with lots of information. And I know people that have messed things up because, you're typing too fast, you're trying to get it done, not always the best attention to detail. But then you can start looking at those details a little more and being able to proof your own work. I'm not saying that works for every company, not works for every job, because it depends on what is being expected from you. But it's trying to do the best that you can and finding ways to do things. And that's not always at work. It's the same way at home, when you're working with friends, when you're helping them. But again, you read through the Proverbs, there's so much information in there that you can share. Good sense makes one slow to anger. We've heard that many times, to not get angry quickly. Take time to digest it, process it. Are you making your decisions emotionally or logically? And a lot of times we find when we just jump to a reaction, it's more of an emotional response than a logical response. Taking that time to have that conversation, to then really put it through the ringer, to understand where it's coming from and where you're thinking. Sometimes I've seen this, that somebody jumps to a reaction and then come to find out they really were meaning the same thing as the other person, but yet they got in this quarrel over nothing. Taking that time, disciplining ourselves to learn, to really focus and be better, to do things better, to work with one another. Not always think that, I've got it all figured out, I know everything. Accept instruction, even if it's somebody that's younger than you. We all deal with that. You haven't been doing it as long as I have. Well, that's fine. Maybe they figured out a different way to do it, which is okay. It's taking that time out to figure out exactly what it is that we need to do. Proverbs 19. Again, I hope that you're doing well. And thank you for taking the time to listen. Not really a lot to really delve into in this because, again, as you read through them, there's just so much there that you need to process through as you go through each line. So again, Proverbs 19, read that for yourself. Thank you for listening to the Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.